I had this whole kind of introduction thought out about this video and what it's gonna be. And I think it's gonna be one of those times where I state something like super understated about the internet. Because what I was gonna say is that I think that we can all just agree that the internet is a very frustrating place at times. It can be a wonderful place, and it can be a complete trash can fire. I don't know about you guys, but I am aging out of getting a bunch of drinks and then being able to do anything other than just lay listlessly on the couch the next day. So I'm happy to tell you that Zbiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the answer to this problem. Zbiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Zbiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this prebiotic before drinking alcohol, and then you just go get a good night's sleep, and you will feel right as rain the next day. Today's Thanksgiving Day, and if you don't have your Zbiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic, you can definitely get it for Christmas, and you should absolutely have it for New Year. So go to zbiotics.com/educatedbarfly or scan the QR code on the screen right now to get 15% off your order when you use Educated Barfly at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code. Zbiotics is backed with a 100% money back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Thanks to Zbiotics for sponsoring this episode, and let the good times roll. In today's video, we're doing 5 cocktails, so I think that I should take my Zbiotics now. Don't mind if I do. I think that one of the most frustrating topics on the internet is cocktails, and I'll tell you why. There's absolutely no rhyme or reason as to which cocktails become popular on the internet. Like really, seriously, like take the Negroni Spagliato as a really good example of this, right? The Negroni Spagliato has been around for a very long time, and it has always been the same cocktail, and it has always been a pretty amazing cocktail, but nobody cared about it at all until Emma D'Arcy said in a Game of Thrones or like a House of the Dragons interview.
A Negroni.
I was going to say the same thing.
Spagliato. With Prosecco in it.
And then all of a sudden, it was like Negroni Spagliatos everywhere. And then, of course, Drink Talk and Drinkstagram and DrinkTube all followed suit making videos on the Negroni Spagliato. Then everyone had to make a video about it. But we also made a video on the Negroni Spagliato many years before that nobody paid attention to, or very few people other than cocktail nerds paid attention to. So for this video, what I thought we would do is we would take a collection of cocktails that I think should be a hell of a lot more popular than they are. Some of them are cocktails that are great cocktails that are a little problematic, but still great. So they've been respec'd by really famous bartenders, and we're using the respec. Some of them are just incredibly good cocktails that nobody pays attention to for I don't know what reason. And I just think that these are all cocktails that everyone should drink and make more often. I leave it to you, dear viewer, to pay attention to these cocktails a little bit more. Just use this video as a springboard to mix them up and maybe reconsider them. The first cocktail we're doing is an Aviation. It was created by a bartender named Hugo Enslin at the turn of the century. Enslin was the ex-head bartender of the Hotel Wallach in New York City. And then he put it in his 1916 book, of which I forget the name. I think it's like Mixed Drinks or something. I don't know. It's like a not inspiring name of a, here, let's look it up. Recipes for Mixed Drinks is what it's actually called. 1916. All right, let's get into it. So we're gonna be making this in a shaker. It's one of those drinks that doesn't have simple syrup typically in it, and yet still gets shaken. And then we're gonna get a lemon. I don't know, I forgot the order of the way that we do these things.
Cheapest ingredients first.
Cheapest ingredients first, that's true. I feel like we're outside, we're not in our flow anymore. Although I have all these like new things on this set, like it's a new color. I have a drawer here that I can just take my stuff out so I don't forget stuff as often. It's kind of nice. All right, so let's squeeze up some lemon juice here. So one of the reasons why this cocktail is so problematic is because typically, like the original, you don't put simple syrup in it. Today, we are gonna put simple syrup in it. So we're actually gonna make this an actual sour, a little bit more so than like, I don't know, like Daisy style drink. And I wanted to use Butterfly Pea gin, and so I took out my Empress that I haven't used in a while, and look what happened to it. It's like, I guess I could put more Butterfly Pea in this and just like redo it, but it faded over time, so. 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, 1/2 ounce simple syrup. That's what's gonna give us the balance that this cocktail usually lacks. Another reason why this cocktail is kind of controversial is because Luxardo it's kind of seen as like a bully flavor profile, like really running over things. So we're just gonna do 1/4 ounce of maraschino here, and we're gonna do 1/4 ounce of the Creme de Violette. That is gonna give it its signature purple bluish hue. This is also kind of an interesting flavor profile that not a lot of people love. And then I was really trying to double down with the butterfly pea in the gin. The Empress gin is fantastic, so we're gonna use it anyway, and we're gonna do 2 ounces of the gin. I feel like I haven't given you guys a lot of poos and pants, or the poo pants, in videos very often, so we're gonna give it a little shaky poo right in the pants, you know what I'm saying? Give it a shake. And strain. And we're gonna give it a little spritz. Lemon oil is right on top. The Aviation, let's try it. Delightful. It's got everything you want in a sour, and what you want in a sour is to have that lemon juice completely balanced by the simple syrup, which you get. We put a full 1/2 ounce. There's some people who have respect this cocktail and only use 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. It's not quite enough. The maraschino is a little bit of a bully, but at the same time, I like the flavor of maraschino, so it doesn't bother me. And then it is also nicely balanced out by the Violette, which has this very floral flavor to it. But at 1/4 ounce each, it's really playing up the lemon and the gin and the botanicals inside the gin. And then you have those other flavors on the back palate. They're not quite as prevalent as they would be if we had made the original specs. So there it is. The first cocktail that you should be reconsidering, a Respect Aviation. The Gin Fix is a classic cocktail that's one of the oldest cocktails out there. It emerged sometime in the mid-1800s, like 1850s, 1860s. I'm not sure exactly where it came from. It was basically just started popping up on menus. It is very close to an Aviation minus the liqueurs. It is basically just a gin sour on pebble ice, but it is so fantastically amazing. It is so good. It is, especially on hot days, which I guess we're in the wrong season for that, but still, especially on hot days, is so refreshing that I implore everyone to make it. And if you want to winterize it, you can just do a little nutmeg on top or something. All right, so let's just do this right now, shall we? See if I have enough leftover lemon juice. Oh, not quite, almost. 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. 3/4 ounce of simple syrup, and quite honestly, this is one of the most riffable, customizable drinks because you can just basically change out your simple syrup for anything, and you can change the spirit base to anything and really make anything. All of them are gonna be fantastically good, but I really do like it with gin. We're gonna be using a really standard London dry gin here in Tanqueray. We're gonna do 2 ounces of London dry gin. And you just wanna add a skosh, maybe an ounce of pebble ice. I'm gonna give it a whip shake. I should talk about those a little bit today because it's, I think, pretty exciting. Found these nice, just kind of newish, very standard rocks glasses that I really like. It's just, I love them in their mediocrity, if that makes sense. And it's shaped just ever so slightly in a V shape that I like, but it still has a nice room at the bottom and it's not too V-shaped. So we're just gonna put our cocktail in there like so. And then I've been playing around with our freeze dryer and making freeze-dried cocktail garnishes. And what I love about these is that the difference, obviously, with a freeze dryer is that it preserves the taste and it preserves the essence of the lemon as opposed to a dehydrator, which is caramelizing the sugar and making it kind of like a tea-like flavor. This is a really sharp lemon flavor, and when you bite into it, it's got all of that like citric acid bite to it. So they're really good for infusions. So if you wanna like infuse lemon into something, you can rehydrate these as well, and then they're just really beautiful for garnishes as well. So we're gonna use that today. And then we're just gonna top up with pebble like so. You wanna make sure you get that snow cap on top, and then we're just gonna garnish with our freeze-dried lemon. Let's give it a sippy pants. It's like a sharp and floral lemon candy. It is amazingly good, super refreshing, really sharp. It's nice and tart, but it has that simple syrup, and then you get all the botanicals of the gin. Very simple, and you know what they say, there is beauty in simplicity. There it is, the fix. Next cocktail up is gonna be a stirred Manhattan Riff. I know how much you guys love stirred Manhattan Riffs. It is called an à la Louisiane, or sometimes it's called the de la Louisiane, and it's the house cocktail of a very historic bar in New Orleans called the La Louisiane, which was built in 1881. And you know, I gotta say that even though New York City gets all the credit for being like the cocktail city and where, you know, Jerry Thomas was plying his trade in the 1800s, New Orleans in its own right is a massive cocktail city, and there's a lot of classics from there that not that many people really pay attention to. This one, it's an absolute crime that people do not pay attention to this drink as much as they should. So first thing we're gonna do is 3 dashes of absinthe, and then we're gonna do 3 dashes of Peychaud's, 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. I need to clean this bottle off. It's very dusty. I don't like a dusty bottle.
Unless it's a dusty bottle.
Well, even if it's a dusty, it shouldn't be
Dusty?
dusty. It should just be a dusty and not be actually practically dusty. 3/4 of an ounce of our Benedictine. Benedictine, nectar of the gods. Love it. If it was less syrupy, I'd drink it by itself. And then we're gonna do 2 ounces of rye whiskey. I like to do 100 proof rye here because we were working with some big flavors. We wanna match it with a big rye. We're using the Rittenhouse rye, which is a little more corn forward. So it's what I like to describe as a bourbon lover's rye, right? It's gonna appeal to those bourbon lovers, but still very indicative of what a rye should be. So first things first, we're gonna get a big ass cube here and we're gonna crack it. We'll just toss the shards in there. So, and we're just gonna fill up with some smaller pieces of ice here. Don't be shy with the ice. I just realized.
It's bent.
It's bent. It's like just ever so slightly bent this way and then it turns up. How did that get bent? That's better. I mean, I don't know how known it is outside of the confines of our studio, but it is known to me that you get very irritated with me at times. And I think sometimes you just go and you're just like, and then you put it back. Just sort of passive aggressively bending the spoons.
You'll be surprised what I do if you learned it.
You know what? That's why I don't keep a toothbrush down here. That's the exact reason why I don't keep a toothbrush down here. And if I did, it would be in a lockbox like it's a gun. I feel like this is gonna be too high volume to fit in a Nick and Nora, but I also feel like it's gonna be too low volume to fit in like one of our typical coupes. So we're gonna put it in a Nick and Nora. It's just gonna be a little high. See? That is not the wash line you should have, just FYI. It should be like a little 1/4 inch under, but I don't know. Give it a sip. God damn, that's good. We're running low on the cherries, buddy. Typically when I do this, I like to just put it in the bottom, but like that's not very visual. Do you see it when I just plunk it in?
You see a little black mass at
Boop.
the bottom?
That's it. Some people like to do 3 and put it on a skewer, but it's like, I think that's overkill. All right. Well, this whole cocktail, the entire reason for this cocktail's being is the juxtaposition in flavor between the Benedictine, the sweet vermouth, and the Peychaud's and the, I'm just like naming every single thing. No, really, it's the Benedictine with the absinthe that is like the strongest flavor. And then as you sip it on the back palate, you get a lot of the botanicals from the sweet vermouth. I think that a higher proof whiskey is better here because lower proof whiskeys are gonna get lost in all of these big flavors. And so I like to have something with a little bit of oomph. This is an incredibly potent cocktail, so don't have more than 2 when you drink them. But I think you should drink them more often because they're fantastic. And not only that, they're very appropriate for this holiday season that we're in. You know, Benedictine just sort of has that sort of warming spice, you know, spiced kind of pear-like flavor profile that is the typical of the season. So I don't know. So this is a great Christmas drink or Thanksgiving or whatever. So here it is, the à la Louisiane, AKA the de la Louisiane. The Star Daisy was created by New York City bartender Sasha Petrosky, who was the founder of Milk and Honey, one of the most important bars to come out of the kind of revitalization of the cocktail renaissance, if you will. This is also another play on a lemon sour, but it is a daisy, so it includes liqueur, and it is a split-based cocktail that is freaking fantastic. This is one of those drinks that I think should be as popular as like a Last Word or something, and for some reason it's not. I don't know if it's just because chartreuse has become popular or whatever, but guys, come on, what are we doing here? We're here to make good drinks, we're here to drink good drinks. This is gonna be a good drink. This is what we do, Holmes. We squeeze our lemon 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. And we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of a dry curacao here, but this is where some daisies fail. Some daisies do not have simple syrup in them, and so they are not balanced enough. So to combat that, we are going to do what the more successful daisies do and add 1/2 ounce of simple syrup to it to balance out that lemon properly. And then you also get all of the benefits of the curacao. And then we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of Junipero gin. This is the gin that was used in the cocktail, but you don't need to use this gin. This is a little bit higher proof gin, which is kind of nice. But if you wanna use some like Navy strength gin from Plymouth, that'll work. Or if you wanna use just like straight up London dry, that'll work as well. So 3/4 of an ounce. And then we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of our Laird's Bonded Applejack here. Let's get that ice in a glass, shall we? Let's do one of these coupes, the prototype coupe. We are about to release these pretty soon. I'm very excited about it. We got a new glass coming out. Give it a shake. So for garnish, if you want to winterize it, you can put a little nutmeg on top. I'm gonna just do a little spritz, like so. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. I mean, the stars of this cocktail are the Laird's Bonded and the curacao playing together. You get that like kind of apple whiskey vibe along with orange. It's nicely balanced and pretty tart. It's not the most complex flavor, but that's not really what you're going for here. The complexity is really coming from that Laird's and the curacao flavor combination. It is fantastic. Go make the Star Daisy. You will love it, and it's a really good one for the holiday table as well. The Alpine Negroni was created by former New York City bartender Naren Young at the now kind of legendary Dante, which now has an outpost in Beverly Hills. The Alpine Negroni is that exactly what it purports itself to be. It's Negroni using Alpine ingredients, and so of course we are going to be using some Genepi in it. The original calls for lemon bitters, and guess what? I didn't have lemon bitters today, so we're using grapefruit, which I think is going to be real good in this cocktail. Okay, so first things first, 3 dashes of grapefruit bitters. Oh, we're going to do 5 drops of 20% saline solution. Just, you know, zing up the flavors a little bit. 1/2 ounce of Genepi de Alpes, also known affectionately as poor man's chartreuse. Poor man's green chartreuse, for that matter. We're gonna do just a single bar spoon. But we need the actual measuring bar spoon here. Where is my measuring bar spoon? Is it in here? No. Oh, there it is. Hiding amongst the bar spoons. And we're gonna do just 1 bar spoon of white creme de menthe. Not the green kind, although I guess if you wanted to make a green cocktail, you could use the green kind. 3/4 an ounce of Suze, which is gentian, like aperitivo, I guess, or gentian amaro, I guess. It's French, so.
It's very nice, sir.
I told him we already got one.
Technically not amaro, but you know what I'm saying. You just, I guess it's an aperitivo. 3/4 of an ounce of Coqui Americano, which is one of my favorite white wine aperitivos. Last but not least, 1 ounce of gin. We're using just, you know, your regular London dry today. You know what? I got to look up those. What is the garnish? Because I did not write it down for some reason. Oh, fucking rosemary sprig. Don't have it. Not going to do it.
That I do have growing in my yard, but yeah.
That you have what?
Growing in my yard.
Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. Well, bummer I didn't take notes on it. So we crack our first cube and then, you know, fill it up. You know the drill. Give it a twirl. You don't want to stir it down too much because we're going to put it on a big rock right here. Look at this nice new glass we have, Maris. It's so nice. We got this nice piece of ice that we've cut prior to shooting. It's a little bit big, the ice, but that's okay. I don't mind. Question is, do I let it temper a little bit or do I? Is it going to crack?
It's going to crack.
I mean, it's very, very cold right now. Look at that. Super cold. I mean, but I did stir this down a little bit.
Yes,
so.
let's try it.
All right. I'm going to put it to the side of it. Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, I'm a little bothered that I don't have the rosemary because the rosemary is going to add so much by way of the scent. Although I got to say that rosemary is so powerful that I feel like it might kind of overrun some of the more delicate flavors in here. And so it's nice to taste it without it, but I kind of wish we had it for for presentation. I don't know why I didn't take notes on the garnish of this one cocktail, but I guess maybe I was rushing when I was kind of prepping. I don't know. Let's give it a taste. Yeah. Wow, the creme de coco really comes through on the back end of that. And Sue's gets a really bad rap by a lot of people because it's just so powerfully gentian. It's like so powerful and so bitter. But between the little bar spoon of creme de coco and the Americano, it really evens that gentian out. So you get the gentian flavor without the astringency on the back of your palate from the bitterness, which is kind of nice. It is really nice. Also, you get the Alpine flavor from the Genepi as well. And then also, I believe gentian is also an alpine plant. It all just kind of plays together, and then the gin is in there. It's not 100% lost. I'm not picking out a ton of the individual botanicals in the gin, but those botanicals are playing into the overall flavor of the cocktail. I don't know how I feel about the rosemary now, because I kind of like this without a garnish. And the rosemary is going to add like such a powerful rosemary flavor that can we just go without a garnish? We have to go without a garnish because we don't have the rosemary, but this is brilliant on its own. I don't think it needs that garnish. All right, we got some rosemary. Marius says, go to the store and I do's it. What can I say? Bam, there it is. Voila, the garnish is on. Let's take a sip and smell it. And it's nice with the garnish. It's actually not overpowering. It's very nice. So there it is, the Alpine Negroni. We don't usually do outros anymore, but we've got so much stuff going on here at Barfly Studios that, well, we should just do an outro to plug some stuff. So obviously you guys know that we have garnishes, dehydrated garnishes for cocktails, but what you guys don't know and what we just added is that we have also freeze-dried garnishes. Just what we want to do with something that's very brittle. What is the difference between dehydrated and freeze-dried, you might ask? Well, this is a dehydrated lime. As you can see, the heat caramelizes the sugars. It gives it like a tea vibe. It is very nice. It's kind of visually striking. Here is a freeze-dried garnish. And what this does is actually preserves all of the natural flavor of this is a lemon. I guess I think I should have showed you lime and lime, but this is a lemon. It basically just preserves all of the natural flavor of the fruit. It preserves even that citric acid bite, so that it's very tart. It's just like a lemon when you bite into it. You can rehydrate these as well, but what they're also really good for is infusing. When you want to infuse spirits, this is kind of the way to go. They infuse really, really well, and then they also rehydrate. So you can have an alcoholic little snack, or you can rehydrate it in water to have a good facsimile of a fresh lemon. But they're shelf stable for up to 25 years. So it's just basically two different sides of the same coin, depending on what you're going for in your cocktail. If you want something that's a little bit more natural and fresh look, you can use the freeze-dried. And if you're looking for something that looks a little more caramelized and a little bit more aged, you can go with the dehydrated look. So we got those in the shop. Of course, we also got our bitters. We have 3 different varieties of bitters, and we will be adding to those at some point. Right now, you can buy a 3-pack or you can buy them individually. We're very excited about them. They're in pre-order right now, but they will be shipping soon. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is just, because I'm second guessing myself on the specs, to just wanna make sure, that we don't do one of those signature barfly f***ups in this video. Okay, we're gonna do, that was like a lot more gummy around than I thought it would be. Oh man, the initial seal wasn't good enough, and I just got like a spray of cocktail on me. What is it again?
Gentian?
Gentian, that's what I was thinking of. Yes.
Was it? It looked like
it's gentian. So I didn't remember, and that's why I didn't remember the word, and that's why I was looking at the label, because I was like, what? It doesn't say it on the label anyway. Now we have all this. We paid $3.99 for these 3 sprigs that we don't need.